Good morning and welcome to the show, and thanks for waking up with us today. This morning we're waking up with Major Tommy Ford from the Bay County Sheriff's Office. Major Ford is the Chief Deputy. Well, you work directly for Frank McKeithen, don't you?
Yes, sir, I do.
Yeah, our beloved sheriff.
Yes.
Who, I could go on and on. My wife loves him. True gentleman, a real professional, and, one of the few strong leaders that we have in this area.
He's definitely a strong leader, and I can tell you what you see in public is what we see behind closed doors as far as his leadership and his convictions on what's right.
Yeah, he's a good man.
He is.
And by and large, and I've talked with people on the show before about the sheriff's office, and very well received. Very well received, and nothing but professional. I don't think I've ever heard a bad thing about the Bay County Sheriff's Office.
Well, we have got a bunch of great men and women that are out there protecting the community every day, and they are really true heroes. And I feel honored to be able to work alongside them, because they just do amazing things every day. Some of the things the public hears about, and some that they don't.
Oh, I'm sure we only hear this much of it. But I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
The dust has settled from spring break. The autopsy has been done. The post-mortem's been done. We've looked at this thing up and down now. And how do you think spring break's going to be different next year? Because we made a lot of news this year.
Right.
Not necessarily good news for Panama City Beach and Bay County in general.
Right.
How are things going to change?
Well, I think it's yet to be seen. The County Commission and the City Commission will be considering new ordinances that will hopefully help control spring break. The alcohol on the beach ordinance, the 21 and over in the clubs, among several other things. And some of those are based on the sheriff's recommendations of what he thinks, based on his experience, is necessary to promote public safety. And these 5 recommendations that he made, and hopefully we've got a lot of the County Commission has really shown a lot of great leadership on that. City Commission, at least for the remainder of spring break and our last couple of weeks of spring break, passed that no alcohol on the beach ordinance. So it was kind of in the waning days of spring break, but I think it really sent a message that Bay County is not going to tolerate the type of behavior and activity that we've seen in the criminal activity that we saw at spring break this year.
It was so embarrassing to see the news, and people want to blame the media for it. But you know what? If it bleeds, it leads, and that is the media. And if you've got horrendous things going on Panama City Beach, and I understand you're law enforcement. You guys aren't the policymakers.
Right.
All you can do is make recommendations to our elected leaders on how to keep the public safe.
Right.
And that's your job, is to protect and serve. And we certainly appreciate the hard work you do. But do you think sometimes maybe you're asked to do a job that just can't be done?
Well, it is a multifaceted problem in order to bring spring break under control. What was once college spring break and a good time, and people coming to enjoy our natural resources here and the beauty of Panama City Beach. At some point it grew to a level that's just unsustainable and unmanageable. It attracted the wrong crowds here, both college students, the wrong college
real
students,
criminal elements.
College students who are here because the perception is that anything goes and that there's no rules, as well as a criminal element that came in, and it was a horrible mix, unmanageable in its current form. So we're really hoping that some changes can be made, and that it can transform back into a manageable college spring break with kids that are here to enjoy our beautiful beaches.
I remember spring break when we first moved down here. It was a true spring break, and it was okay. It was kind of annoying. It's okay. We got to stay away from the beach for a while because all the kids are here. But now it's like stay away from the beach because it's actually dangerous nowadays. We got to run off to the local weather. But on the other side of that, I want to talk about the philosophy of broken windows and how that may help your community policing out on the beach for spring break next year.
All right, great.
And we'll be right back after your Waking Up with Don weather. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Tommy Ford, the Chief Deputy from the Bay County Sheriff's Office, and we're talking about spring break. We talked a little bit about, and the tease was broken windows before we went to the weather. And for people who don't know, that I saw that firsthand in New York City when I was a New York City firefighter from 1989 to 1996. People saying, New York City's ungovernable. We have to break it up into little cities because it's just too much. Crime is rampant.
Right.
Then we had a fella by the name of Rudy Giuliani who got elected and said, this is totally governable, but if we enforce the small crimes, the big crimes will wane as well. And the theory of broken windows is, as you well know, and I'm just going to spout this and you tell me where I'm going wrong, for the benefit of our viewers, is that if you break one window and you don't fix it, people think it's okay to break the next window and the next window and the next window. Then you got a whole house full of broken windows.
Right.
If you fix that window right away, and the first person who throws a rock gets arrested, guess what? No one's going to break another window.
Right. Absolutely, and it's been a very effective technique in New York, and I think you can see a lot of correlations between that and what the sheriff has done this year with spring break and bringing in the additional resources. We at times had, in addition to what we had already planned prior to spring break, based on what we started seeing the weekend of the 14th and the 15th, was very concerning to us, a very dangerous situation. So the sheriff called for surrounding counties to come in, which is really only something you do in a natural disaster and an emergency, which I would submit to you we were in that situation. But we brought in sometimes an additional 50 people in addition to the shifts we already had planned for spring break, and they were out there enforcing the little stuff. And in doing that, we're finding guns. We found close to 50 guns this spring break, which is makes it a very dangerous situation for everybody out there involved, citizens and law enforcement alike.
And your job is so dangerous. There's no such thing as a safe traffic stop because you never know what you're going to find. People are on their way to spring break, and you pull someone over for a taillight or whatever. Right. You never know what you're going to find in there.
And we found that many times out there. When we were out there conducting traffic stops and finding gun. We had one situation Corporal Larry Granger was involved in where he pulled a car over, had kids in the back seat, and as he looked, one of the kids pointed what appeared to be a pistol at him. Luckily, he showed restraint and did not react to that, and we later determined that was a toy pistol. So that could have been a tragedy.
It could have been a tragedy. Good grief. What you guys have to put up with is unbelievable. So hopefully next year will be a little different if we start enforcing these common sense changes that I think, open containers and drinking on the beach and all that stuff.
We do hope that we can start changing the tide if these ordinances pass to give us additional tools, and we will certainly be bringing in a lot of resources. It'll take some time to change it and get it back to something that's a little bit more manageable.
Just in a few seconds we have left, what is the cost of all this? That you've got to bring all this extra law enforcement in?
Well, just in additional costs with overtime and our mutual aid and fuel and things like that, we're well over $500,000 in additional unbudgeted costs for spring break.
Holy mackerel. So, if we rebrand this city as a place that, no, not everything goes here. You're going to have to act in a civilized manner. I've seen it firsthand work. I've seen it work in New York City, and I think it could work down here too.
I do too.
So, and I know that you and Sheriff McKeithen and the Bay County Sheriff's Office are the people who can do it for us.
Well, we'll certainly do our part.
And thank you so much for everything you do, and you're welcome back on the show.
Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it, Major Tommy Ford, and we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the show. It's Friday, so it's time for the Weekend Roundup with Kristen. Kristen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me back again.
Yeah, this is a great place to work and live and play.
Yes.
And what can we play at this weekend? What's happening around town?
Well, we have a play going on. Prelude to a Kiss is still playing.
Nice segue. I
Yes.
like that. There is a play, which I saw, by the way.
Yes.
Which was just very interesting. It was a great story.
Yeah, so people get out and see that this weekend. That's going to be today and through the rest of the weekend. And then we also have, if you're out on the beach, you are going to see many paragliders in the sky, paragliders, yes.
Yeah.
So it is the Beach Blast is going on this weekend.
Yeah,
so
that
don't
sounds
be a little
interesting.
alarmed if you see things flying in the sky.
Flying people on the beach.
Yes.
Yeah, and you see those things. Those contraptions are pretty amazing.
They are amazing.
I call them contraptions. I know they're airplanes of some sort or other, but I don't know if I'd
It'd be
ever
interesting
get
to
one.
get up on one, huh?
Yeah, it's like, just strap a lawnmower to your back and grab a wing and off you go.
Off you go.
Yeah.
So that's on that's today, and then Saturday we have Autism Surfs PCB, which would be really nice. So get out there, and they're going to have surf lessons from local surfers. They'll have breakfast and lunch available. They'll have some raffles and everything, so that'll be.
And if you have a child with autism, bring them out there, throw them on a board. And
yes, they'll have a great
fun.
time. Yes, absolutely. And then we also have Lion Tamers dive tournament, which so they're going to be catching the lionfish and groupers, and they'll have a competition for that. And it's also family fun day, free family fun day. So it won't cost you anything. Take your kids down to Captain Anderson's. They're going to have a fishing clinic for the kids. They'll have a bouncy house. They'll have all kinds of games and stuff for the adults too. So
well, it sounds like a fun time. And that lionfish tournament, they have that every year. And I think it was a guy from Diver's Den who told me all about the lionfish, which I didn't know. They're an invasive species here from Asia, so they're really not natural to this area. So really don't feel bad about killing these things, because they really shouldn't be here.
Are they good to eat?
You can eat them,
can
yes.
you?
Yeah. And they actually do better here than they do in Asia, where they're from.
Go figure.
Yeah, they actually get bigger here than they are, so so they're a problem, and this is a good, good solution toward that problem. Not that it'll solve it all, but go out there and kill some lionfish.
Well, if you don't want to eat the lionfish, you can go for the Taste of the Beach at Pier Park.
Ah, okay.
That'll be going on Saturday, so get your wristbands, and you'll get 10 tickets on there, and you can taste all of the local. They'll have local vendors of all the different local restaurants and everything. Get a little taste of.
Yeah, that sounds like a little gastronomic adventure. Taste of the Beach at Pier Park.
Yes, so that will be something fun. And then we have the Relay for Life and the Hearts for Military Heroes. So we have 2 runs going on this weekend as well.
And that's at Aaron Besant Park, I think?
Aaron Besant Park, and then the Military Heroes is going to be at Frank Brown.
Well, it sounds like there's no excuse to stay home this weekend.
No, absolutely not. And hopefully we'll have some beautiful weather as well.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be too hot.
Yeah.
I mean, welcome to Florida. It's hot already, It just went boom, summertime.
You can't complain. When you come from the snow, you love the heat.
Yeah,
so.
it's kind of a trade-off, isn't it, Kristen?
Yes.
You trade the Boston snow for the Florida heat.
I will take this any day.
Yeah, me too. This is a real deal, Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and getting us smart on what's going on this weekend. And if I can put in a little plug for the Kaleidoscope Theater before we go, go out and see Prelude to a Kiss.
Yes.
It's a very interesting play, and the talent is just amazing.
You get
the
to
actors are
go
just
up
amazing.
and talk to them after too, which is great.
Very cool place to be. Thanks again, Kristen.
Absolutely.
And we'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I'm here in the studio with Pamela Elliott from Elliott Vocal Studios and Talent Agency here in Panama City, right on 23rd Street.
Yeah, hi, Don.
Hi, how are you, Pamela? So good to see you.
I'm doing great.
Yeah, and people recognize your place because you're building it. You've got that octagon building on 23rd Street with the big sign there. And
it's a pretty cool building, too.
It is.
It's bigger than it looks.
It is. I've been in there, and you guys have got a lot of stuff. You've got little studios in there. You've got a recording studio.
Yeah, state-of-the-art recording studio.
Yeah, just awesome. Awesome facility. But beside the facility, you got a lot of other stuff going on there now, don't you?
We do. We've got all kinds of cool stuff going on. First thing we've got that I'd like to talk about today is our summer camps. We've got 8 camps. 8. That's double what we had last year.
Wow.
It went so well last year that we decided to do more. So,
what are the camps about? They're music camps, obviously.
Yes, the young musicians.
It's easy for you to say. Yes.
And we've got them from 4 years old to 16.
Wow.
So it covers everybody. The first one is the 4 to 6 year olds. That camp is, I believe, starts June 8th. And then we've got all kinds of age groups and just all kinds of stuff. I mean, they're really great. They go Monday through Thursday, and then that's what they do. And it's a great price.
And it's
for
right
what
there,
you're
right?
getting to.
Happens right in the Octagon building there.
Oh,
the camp.
yeah. And but the older kids, they will, middle school, high school kids will get introduced to some great instruments like band instruments like trumpet and saxophone and percussion, like for drumline and flute, piccolo.
Oh my!
Of course, all
What's
that
your
kind
most
of
popular
stuff.
instrument? What do people mostly go for? I know people love guitar, but
Guitar and piano.
And piano,
but we're adding all these new things on. So, and they're actually geared toward band, like for school.
Right.
And we're really encouraging kids to be in band in their middle school and high schools.
And it's so important to have music as part of your life. I have seen that in my own home. Not that I'm very musical, but my son is. And I know it helped him with his studies. You know, when he'd be studying in his room in high school, and then you'd hear music coming out of his room, and he'd be playing his guitar, and I knew he was taking a break.
Yes.
And all the studies are in that says that people who are musical are
It's
actually a little
stress
better at
relief.
math. It's a big stress relief.
Yes,
and
it's
it kind of
huge stress
activates
relief.
parts of your brain that really help you with problem solving and just
It
cooking
does,
skills.
very much so.
There's no downside to having
No,
music in your life, is
there's
there?
not. Well, we've got a lot going on in the studio these days, and we've got the state-of-the-art recording studio. We're doing lots of demos and things like that these days, which is really great. We've got a couple of engineers that work with us, and they do a great job.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And we do it for a great price too.
Yeah, now you've also got the talent agency there
Yes.
as well. So it's not only, Elliott Vocal Studios, it's also Elliott Vocal Studios and talent agency.
Yes, the talent agency is, boy, we have been busy. There's been a lot going on with that. We're doing acting on camera group once a month. It's free to the community. We want people to come out and get educated in acting on camera because we're really hoping, we're still waiting on those incentives. We're waiting. We've got one more step. There's a petition out there.
Right.
And I think that's the
There's
last
some
step.
legislation or something that's in the works
Yes,
that will
yes.
help Panama City kind of be a magnet for movie and film and TV.
Exactly. Well, the incentives will help the whole state of Florida. I mean, it will be amazing, and it'll be great for us because we're on the most beautiful beaches in Florida.
That's true.
So, actually, in the nation.
I mean, you think of the one big movie that was shot around here, The Truman Show. People talk about that all the time, but that was years ago.
Yeah, and there's another big one that was shot. It was called East Side Story when it was shot, but it's not East Side Story anymore. It's called Dancing It's On, and that's another story. That's going to be big here, and for us because it was all shot right here, and it shows Panama City. It talks about Panama City, and they're doing a big push to get that on the big screen now.
Our cities, our county, the whole Gulf Coast has so much to offer.
Yes, it does.
And if there are some incentives for movies to be made here, why not?
Well, yeah, because it's a great value too.
Yeah,
It's not like being in LA or Dallas or it's the economy here is different and it's a better value.
Pamela, if somebody wants to become part of your talent pool, what do they need to do?
They need to come talk to us, or they need to send us in. They actually can go on our website, and there's a place that they can submit their pictures, their bio, and all that kind of stuff.
So just Google up Elliott Vocal Studios.
Yeah, you can.
and
Absolutely. Elliott
contact
Talent
them.
Agency. Yeah.
Elliott Talent Agency.
Yes, it's
Google
two
that
separate
up.
things.
All right, yeah, that's true.
Same under the same roof.
All under the octagon.
Yes.
Pamela Elliott, thank you so much for coming on the show and getting us smart on the camps that you're having, the talent agency, and all the great stuff that's going on there at Elliott Vocal Studios and Talent Agency.
Well, thanks, Don. I appreciate you having me.
And we'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. We've got Mildred Singer here in the studio today, and she's going to sing Chance I'll Take.
I guess I've always lived life in the middle, never jumping in the fast lane. I guess I've always lived life simple, but God is calling me to change. Mildred, what if you make a mistake? I guess that's just a chance I'll take. Mildred, what if you make a mistake? I guess that's just a chance I'll take. Sometimes I can get discouraged, get down and out about my life. But if the devil wasn't tempting me out of his own misery, I guess I would be doing things right. Mildred, what if you make a mistake? I guess that's just a chance I'll take. Mildred, what if you make a mistake? I guess that's just a chance I'll take. La da dee da 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 da, la da dee da da da, la da dee da 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 da. In my life I've strived for perfection. Turns out perfection for me. 'Cause I was made in my own way, and I thank God every day now that I finally see. Mildred, what if you make a mistake? I guess that's just a chance I'll take. Mildred, what if you make a mistake? I guess that's just a chance I'll take. I guess that's just a chance I'll take. I guess that's just a chance I'll take.